everyone. I'm Adam Brown, and this is Shell Point Today for Wednesday, August 12th. On today's show, Carla Benninga will tell us all about the Southwest Florida Chamber Symphony concert coming up. And we'll get you prepared for stormy weather by showing what items would be useful for your hurricane kit. But first, we want to remind you of an outing tomorrow that's all about beads. If you're interested in making jewelry, then this beading class is the perfect opportunity to learn how. You'll learn about the tools of the trade and create pieces from beads of your choice. The cost of the trip is $18, which includes transportation and class fees. The cost of beads is extra, which averages between $13 and $25 to create 2 pieces of jewelry. Court pickups begin on the island at 12:30 p.m. On Friday of this week, you'll have the opportunity to learn all about the Technical Support Services team in a special interactive presentation at the Village Church. At the event, you'll discover the latest offerings of high-speed internet and their capabilities, including demonstrations of streaming data devices such as Roku and TiVo, as well as digital video recording devices. Sound confusing? Well, don't worry, it will all be explained in detail at the presentation, where you'll have the opportunity to meet the technical staff, place orders for services, browse hands-on displays, and more. This fun, high-tech presentation will begin at 2:15 at the Village Church. Looking ahead to next Tuesday, don't forget about the Assisted Living Tea and Tour at the King's Crown. Backed by popular demand, this event will be hosted by Director Rita Southern, who will give you all the information needed for transitioning through the continuum of care at Shell Point. All of your questions will be answered, and you'll get the opportunity to meet your caseworker as well. Call 454-2077 to reserve your seat for the event, which starts at 10 a.m. at the King's Crown. One final note to remember is that the Shell Point TV department, that's us, will be undergoing some important technical service updates beginning next week. During this time, all 3 Shell Point channels, 11, 12, and 13, will be off the air. This means that we will not be providing programming on any of these channels from August 17th through the 23rd. This is absolutely necessary in order for us to install all of the required equipment and updates. We want to assure you that our goal is to be back on the air as quickly as possible, which is scheduled for Monday morning, August 24th. We also want to take this opportunity to thank those who took the time to fill out the Shell Point TV survey last month. All the data is currently being compiled and analyzed. Please know that our goal is to bring you the best programming and information possible for you to enjoy and stay informed about what's happening here at Shell Point. Well, it's almost here. The Southwest Florida Chamber Symphony concert is just hours away. Tomorrow night, the Village Church will be filled with the sounds of wonderful music and artistic expression as the works of 2 great composers will be celebrated. Here's resident Carla Benninga to tell you all about it.
The changing seasons have inspired musical interpretations by many composers around the world and throughout the ages. This summer, the Southwest Florida Symphony presents a sampling of nature's splendor, embodied in music through the works of 2 composers who found inspiration in the Earth's life cycle and in their respective parts of the world. Baroque-era Italian composer Antonio Vivaldi's The 4 Seasons, and 20th century Argentina tango composer Astor Piazzolla's The 4 Seasons of Buenos Aires. Composed around 1720, Vivaldi's 4 Seasons are among the boldest program music of the Baroque period, and is considered to be Vivaldi's best-known work and among the most popular pieces in the Baroque music repertoire. Born March 11, 1921, Argentine Astor Piazzolla became a master of the accordion at a young age. He formed his own orchestra, playing tango music, but he was fascinated by both classical and jazz. With a new group, the Quinteto Nuevo Tango, he began experiment with a fusion of all three genres. However, he stalled for years as a composer, trying to write what he thought he should rather than what came naturally. After having it pointed out that most of his classical music sounded like other composers' work, Piazzolla was encouraged to look instead to tango for inspiration. From then on, memorable works flowed. The first of the Four Seasons of Buenos Aires was written in 1965 by Piazzolla. The title inescapably brings Vivaldi's Four Seasons to mind, but there the tribute ends, at least in Piazzolla's original version. His are single-movement works, while Vivaldi's all have three. Remember, when it's summer in Vivaldi's Venice, it is winter in Piazzolla's Buenos Aires. So listen closely, and you will hear bits of Vivaldi's summer worked into winter here. It will be a wonderful evening of music as we celebrate and enjoy the works of these composers as performed by the Southwest Florida Chamber Symphony. The Four Seasons by Vivaldi and the Four Seasons of Buenos Aires by Piazzolla. I hope you will join me at the Village Church on Thursday, August 13 at 7:30 p.m. Tickets are available at either service desk or by calling 454-2067. Bring a friend. See you there on Thursday the 13th.
All this rain lately makes it easy to remember that we are right in the middle of hurricane season here in Florida. But did you remember to pack your hurricane kit, which you'll need before heading to the shelter? Rich Nation is standing by with his kit to show you what you might put in yours.
Hi, I'd like to talk to you a moment about something we're all mindful of this time of year in Florida, and that's hurricanes. That's right, it is hurricane season right now, and statistics show, according to the Historical Hurricane Database, that the Fort Myers, Florida area has been affected or brushed by a hurricane or tropical storm approximately once every 3 years. Now, fortunately for us here at Shell Point, we have the hurricane shelter on the island to provide us all safe shelter from high winds and driving rains associated with hurricanes. Most of us remember Hurricane Charlie from 2004 when extensive damage was caused throughout the region. The Shell Point Hurricane Shelter on the island proved itself to be invaluable at that time. And should threatening weather come our way again, it is of utmost importance to be prepared ahead of time before entering the shelter. One of the first steps in preparation is to assemble for yourself a hurricane kit. It should consist of items that you will have with you at the shelter should such an emergency arise. The Shell Point Hurricane Management Team may activate their detailed and organized evacuation plan 36 to 48 hours prior to the storm's landfall, so having the right items with you is very important. You can rest assured that accurate and up-to-date storm tracking from different sources and via various means of communication will be utilized to inform residents of all decisions and plans should an evacuation to the storm shelter be deemed necessary. Now, let's talk about what exactly should go into your hurricane kit. First, you want to get a small zippered bag, tote bag similar to this, to put your items in. Make sure to attach identification on the outside of the bag so everyone will know whose kit this is. Include your name and contact information. According to the Shell Point Hurricane Plan, hurricane kits will be transported to the shelter in advance of the actual evacuation if time allows. Therefore, you don't want to pack any perishable foods, medications that you may be needing ahead of time, or valuables. Although drinking water will be provided for you at the shelter, There will not be any made available for bathing, so you might want to pack some sanitary wipes and a bottle of hand sanitizer or soap. Also some hand towels or washcloths. A disposable toothbrush or tooth wipes such as these would be very useful, as well as other personal toiletries. In addition to the minimum daily water supply that will be provided for each resident, you might also want to pack a liter of bottled water as well. This will come in handy to provide you hydration if needed during the evacuation or prior to being able to access the supplied water in the shelter. Also, once emptied, you can refill your bottle at the shelter. A 3-day supply of dietary snacks is recommended, especially if you're on a restricted diet. A flashlight with batteries should you need to see around in darker areas, some bug spray, other suggested items such as Band-Aids, antiseptic spray, aspirin, Tylenol, or Aleve may also be packed. A small pillow that fits in your bag, as well as a change of clothes, are a great idea. Some earplugs should you want some quiet time, and be sure to pack something to occupy that time, such as a good book to read. In addition to the kit, you will definitely want to have something ready to bring to sit on in the shelter. A comfortable folding chair or cot that is no wider than 27 inches may be brought. It should be lightweight and portable. As with everything, you should attach proper identification to all your items. Should another storm threaten our community, we want all of our residents to be prepared for evacuation. Having a properly packed hurricane kit will ensure you'll have with you all the necessary items to help keep you as comfortable as possible as we wait out the storm. If you have any questions or for more information, you can contact Shell Point Safety Specialist Roy Nestor at 454-2142.
And now it's time to cover all of today's happenings, menus, and Village Church connections.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the Happenings segment of Shell Point TV. My name is Bev Chandley, and I'm going to tell you what kind of activities we have for you today here at Shell Point. We start with at 8:45. We have Lily & Company Jewelers at the Resident Activities Center this morning. At 9 o'clock, we have Geraci Travel here to help you with your personal travel needs. She'll be here till noon. Also at 9 o'clock, we have the men's round robin doubles tennis at the Woodlands Tennis Courts. And also we have 9 o'clock, watercolor group with Phil Hilton. That's in the art studio, which is down in the tunnel. At 9:15, the card making and scrapbooking group will be down in the Tarpon room. And at 10 o'clock, the ladies' Bible study will be in the Osprey room. And at 10:15, the model yachts will be sailing down at the Woodland Commons Lake. 11:30, we have a Health Connections class, Barre Basics. That's held in the Health Club, and that's currently full. We're going to go into the afternoon activities lineup right now. It's 12:45. We have the Health Connections class, Advanced Senior Strength. That's in the Health Club. 1 o'clock, we have chess being played in the Library Lounge. And at 1:45, we have another Health Connections class, Balance and Mobility Training Level 1, and that's in the Health Club. At 3 o'clock, there's a Bible study in the community room of King's Crown. At 3 o'clock, there's also Pilates Stretch. That's going on in the Health Club on the island. 4:30, we have indoor bocce. That's played down in the Health Club on the island. And our last activity for the day is 7:15, Prayer and Praise at the Village Church. Well, thanks for tuning in today, and we will see you back here again tomorrow.
Menus for Wednesday. The Crystal Room is closed today through August 15th. In the Island Cafe for lunch, the special is a Philly cheesesteak panini with fries for $7.75. The dinner special is fried shrimp for $8.75. Dinner specials in the Palm Grill are trout for $16.95 or chicken Oscar for $15.95. All menus are available 24 hours a day at www.shellpoint.net.
Hi, welcome to Village Church Connections. I'm Andy Hawkins, the senior pastor of the Village Church, and I'm here once again with Janice Quinlan, who's our international worker in residence. And we were together not so long ago talking about your year here at Shell Point as an international worker in residence. And I'm sure the folks might remember that when we introduced that segment, we recognized sort of the framework for being an international worker back here in the United States, that folks every 4 years or so usually come back from a foreign field and spend a year on home assignment. And you've been doing that ever since maybe last August or something like that, right?
Yes.
And you've landed here in Shell Point, and you have some responsibilities in home assignment. It's not a vacation by any stretch of the imagination. You've toured some churches both in the fall and in the spring, but you've also had a real investment in the life and ministry here at the Village Church, which is also part of your assignment. And we've been delighted and profited enormously by that in the church. But what we've actually been talking about that we addressed in the last session was some of the ways in which you've been blessed, or you've learned, or you've profited from your time here at Shell Point, and being a neighbor for so many of those who are around us, and also a friend of many, a friend of some that you've known before, but also have made some new friends, made those kinds of connections, and had some opportunities to do some reflection, maybe have been rejuvenated a little bit so that you're ready to go back when you're ready to return. But certainly there are some other things that you'd like to share with us that have profited you, that blessed you during this past year.
Yeah, there's so many, many things that have been a real blessing to me. One other thing that has blessed me is that I am now a member of the Village Church.
That's right.
And the little church that I grew up in and came to faith closed about 8 years ago. And so I have really been without a home church connection, which I think is something everybody needs. And I knew that that was lacking in my life. So my decision to join the Village Church solidified my commitment to stay in contact with people here, and hopefully one day be able to come back and be with them again. But I consider this as now my home church, and this is my church family.
Well, we so deeply appreciate that, because obviously we in the Village Church want to be connected in a couple of ways. We will certainly want to be connected with the ministries overseas, and in particular certain key ministries that we know a lot about, and we've been made aware of a lot of the things that are going on in Thailand that are associated with your ministry. But we also want to be connected with the people. And it's been such a delight to get to know you, and to really spend time with you, and to have such affection for you, which I think you've felt, I think, by so many people in the Village Church, that it is our pleasure to sort of own you as one of our own. That we're a sending church for you, and a church that you can rely on to pray for you and to care about you. And I think that's a great pleasure that it's mutual between the two of us, I trust.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Some other things that the Lord did for me over the course of this year was, one thing that he did was heal a very deep hurt that I've carried for probably my whole life, but certainly the last probably 15 years.
Wow.
And I've always had this feeling that I don't belong to anyone or any place. And I'm sure it comes from growing up in a dysfunctional family, but I always felt like I was the person on the outside of the window looking in, but never participating with what has been going on inside. And that was so painful that I couldn't even voice it to hardly anyone.
Oh, I see.
But over the course of the year, God has specifically answered that need that I had. And probably a month or so ago, I felt that the Lord gave that one final deadly blow.
Wow.
And I now know where and to whom I belong.
Wow, praise the Lord. That's a great breakthrough, isn't it?
Yes.
Well, we really desire the Village Church to be a community that provides opportunities for people to really work through those kinds of things. People don't get to be at the age that our clientele is here at the Village Church without having gone through a lot of bumps and bruises over their lives. And I'm sure that while you've had your particular wounds that have had to be healed, most people in this community have similar experiences. And if we can do anything to help people find healing for those kinds of wounds, forgiveness in whatever way, shape, or form that might appear, that's the kind of thing that we love to do, and hope that we've been able to facilitate that a little bit. But I'm sure it's been the Lord for you, helping you to sort of see things from a different perspective and work through it. But what a blessing it is to be free from that.
Yeah, so much so. I
Great.
think so. And I've learned from people who have walked with Jesus longer than I have, and some have really made an effort to speak into my life as a younger sister or daughter,
Right.
which has been so meaningful to me, that I've had that kind of a connection, and I can learn from them and watch as some of them face diminishment with such great faith, and long that one day I will be the same, that as they model gentleness and faith and trust and gratitude, that I can model those same types of things in my own life. So a part of my heart will certainly stay here at Shell Point when I return to Thailand. It's the price you pay for loving and knowing people in more than one place.
That's right. Isn't it great to see people who really are at that stage of their lives when they really do exhibit those wonderful qualities of grace that are maybe demonstrate the kind of perseverance they have in the Lord, the kind of contentment that they have in the Lord. You know, when Jean and I first came here just a couple of years ago, we were awed by the people that we were ministering to because they've had so much more experience in ministry and in life than we have had, and they've been able to speak into our lives as well. So I understand exactly what you mean by that, and what a great blessing it is to be here in that kind of context. That's great. Yeah. Well, I trust this has been such a profitable year that you'll come back.
I hope so.
I trust that that's the case because, you know, we count you as one of our own,
Thank you.
as a sending church, and as people who really do indeed care about you, and we'll keep you in our prayers when you are able to return very soon. But it's been a blessing to have you here. You've been a treasure to us, and we trust that you've been blessed as you've been here as well.
Thank you.
That's great. Well, thank you for joining us in Village Church Connections. Janice will be here for another couple of months, and as you see her, I'm sure you'll want to get acquainted and give her your special blessing as well. God bless each and every one of you, and we hope to see you soon.
Thanks for joining us for today's program. On tomorrow's show, Heather Batty and Robin Church will tell us about a Health Connections class on complexion perfection coming next week. And Dottie Morrison will tell us all about the global outreach event happening as well. Until then, I'm Adam Brown, and this is Shell Point Today for Wednesday, August 12th. On behalf of all of us here at SPTV, we hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll see you again tomorrow.